the foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be every. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show.
ADR Networks presenta Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación. ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isa Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign Show! On the Foreign Show.
Welcome, people.
What up, people? Welcome to the show. It's Friday, it's 3 p.m., and this is That Foreign Show. I'm Isaac Rakesh,
I'm Celestine Angel, and we're here on ADR Networks,
activating
activating your
your
senses.
senses. Yeah. Welcome to
Okay,
the show.
so That Insider is the first segment of That Foreign Show. And this is the segment that we are going to review some things, introduce some things that we like and we think that foreigners out there might like, as well as locals. So like basically this today's segment we're going to talk about Aman, a friend. He opened a chai shop, and so we had the opportunity to try his chai out. So
Yes.
for those of you who do not know what chai is, it's an Indian tea. So maybe Isaac, who's Indian, should tell us more.
Yo, chai is a mystery. You can never really know what chai is.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just looking at the pictures now. Chai.
Yeah.
Okay, basically it's tea, right? So it's a kind of tea that comes from India, right?
It's
And
delicious.
it's delicious, yeah. So it's basically made from tea leaves, right? Black tea, all right. Another way of looking at it, black tea, and usually have it with like sugar and milk. It's delicious, as you can
Yes.
see, and we've tried the stuff from the chai walas. And big shout out to Aman again. Thank you for the hookup,
And Stephanie.
and Stephanie. Big shout out. Delicious, by the way, delicious. We tried the Henny one, right?
Yeah. So ours is jengibre, and it comes already with like a certain percentage of sugar. Like Aman said, is less than the commercial brands, and also with powdered milk. So you
Yeah.
can just basically just take it out of the bag and drink it straight. If you want to add more sugar, up to you. But yeah, you don't really need to add milk. And he has like, and they are packed already nicely and all that. And he was telling us the ones without powdered milk, there is like a straight black tea one and masala one as well.
Very
So
convenient to use, right? Just scoop a spoonful out, and you don't even need to add milk or anything, right? Just add hot water, and you're good to go.
right,
We actually added milk the first time we had it. We added
yeah,
milk, and we
we
added some
didn't
other kind
know
of
whether to add or not. Like,
yeah
and then we added, and it was
delicious. Yeah,
delicious. Without as well, it was
yeah.
delicious. Right.
So big
So
shout out. So that is chai. That is tea.
I would like to like just mention a bit about how beneficial.
Yo, we're back. We're back. Sorry for that. We had some technical difficulties. I kind of like that funky music they were playing in the intermission.
Yeah.
ADR Networks. Yes, y'all. Welcome back, guys. We are happy to have you here watching the show. And Celestine was just letting us know about
Yeah,
managing
so
your crash.
I'm not sure how much people heard, but let me just jump back in. Like, I'm not saying that coffee's bad or anything like that. There's benefits to coffee as well. But like, if we're going to be talking about caffeine, like better caffeine or more manageable caffeine would be the caffeine in teas. So like green teas, chai,
teas,
and,
yeah.
and like we are really fans of chai. Like we love chai. We have passion for chai.
Yeah, it's a whole cultural thing with Indians, Asians in general, having chai and
Yeah, and
the
Isaac
English,
does drink it like, or he did drink it like every day back in Singapore. Here he has not. So
pretty regularly.
knowing
Yeah, that's right.
Aman and this new chai shop is going to make like is going to make a difference because he's going to be getting his regular chai now.
My regular
Yeah.
dose, yes, for sure, for sure.
So for all of you who want to try Indian chai, please go onto that website that we've shown you. Actually,
Yes,
there's also a WhatsApp.
Let's put
contact.
the website back on again one more time.
Yeah, or any one of the contacts.
Yes.
This WhatsApp link as well. Like basically, if you go on Instagram, it's chaiwalas.co.
Chaiwalas.
Is it like that?
Right.
Let me just double check.
Chaiwalas.co.
Yeah, chaiwalas.co is the website. And from there, you can, it's not fully up yet, this website, but there is a contact link.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't speak Hindi, Chaiwalas is basically them chai people. Right?
Oh, I
That's the
didn't know
website.
that. Okay.
Yep, that's the website. Go get your chai fix. Place your orders today. And let us know what you think, y'all. Let us know what you think. We find it delicious. We had the tenebrae, like we were talking about earlier. In Singapore, we call it teh alia, you know. It's tea mixed with ginger.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful combination.
That's why we chose this one because like it's very good for health, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's good for your throat and
Yeah.
like ginger tea, basically. Okay, so I'm not sure if our guest is on yet, but today we have a researcher with us from the U.S. and it's so interesting that she's actually studying remote workers in Mexico City, which
Yes.
is something that we talk about a lot. Like we've been like discussing how Mexico City seems to be such a destination for digital nomads and yeah. Oh, and this term, yeah. Our guest Emily like has mentioned that like it's not really that popular like among digital nomads. They don't like to be called digital nomads, so we can discuss
Yeah,
this
we can
as
answer
well.
about why and stuff, and we are gonna delve into this world of flexible work, right, with Emily Jorgenson. Jorgenson, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We will check that right now. Hello, Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Did I butcher your name?
Jorgenson, it's okay, yeah.
Jorgenson, all right.
Jorgenson.
Be close,
Okay.
yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome
Yeah,
to
thanks
the
for
show.
having me.
Yes,
We're very excited to chat with you about this topic. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
very excited to be here.
Is it Dutch? Your roots, your name?
sounds like something
Uh,
Jorgensen.
It's Danish. So
Danish.
Yeah, Northern
Okay,
European.
okay.
I think the original pronunciation is like Jarnson,
Oh,
but the Americanized version is Jorgensen.
Jorgensen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Great. Okay.
Cool.
So, like a little bit of background. How long have you been here? And yeah, and why did you decide to come to Mexico to study this topic in the first place?
Totally, yeah. This time around, I've been here for about a year. I actually got here in late August of 2023, but was not the first time I had been to Mexico City. Yeah, how I developed this project was a bit by accident. I don't know how far back to go, but I used to live in Indonesia. I went back to the US. I did a master's of Southeast Asian Studies, and my master's project was focused on queer politics in Indonesia. So when I applied for my PhD, this was like in between my master's and PhD year. I kind of took a gap year and ended up traveling around Latin America and came into my PhD program thinking I was going to do an anthropology project back in Indonesia. But I came to Mexico City in February 2020, so a few weeks before lockdown here and before the global lockdown.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, wasn't in my plans originally, but met so many people when I was traveling through Latin America that were like, Mexico's the best, like you need to go. Having loading. I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if there's technical difficulty. Can you hear me?
Hey, we're back. Sorry about that. We're having some trouble today, but I hope it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
Please continue.
Yeah, please jump back in.
So you were telling us about firstly, actually, that was really interesting. You're saying you did your masters in about about politics in Indonesia, right? And then you actually ended up in this part of the world. And yeah, so what happened after that?
Yeah, so I was here about a month before global lockdown, and was planning to maybe spend a month or two in Mexico City and travel around Mexico for a few months with a friend of mine. Obviously, the pandemic happened, lockdowns happened, and a friend and I were like, we don't really have much to go back to right now. Let's see if we can wait it out. So we ended up doing quarantine for about 6 months in Mexico City. I returned to the U.S. summer 2020. During the end of that year, started my PhD thinking I was still going to do a totally different project in Indonesia. And I think just like watching the pandemic unfold, the shift to remote work, also loving Mexico City, I was like, it's very practical to be based here, especially if you have connections to the US. So for a lot of reasons, watching, I think, everything unfold in real time, I was like, I would love to do a project in Mexico City now, be closer. I don't know what the future of the pandemic is going to be like. And so that's how I got interested in remote work, was just watching through 2020, 2021. Obviously most folks working remotely, and then a lot of people coming to Mexico during that time and then staying.
Yeah, we saw the whole thing, like the whole climate change. I mean, obviously the lockdown, and also how that kind of affected people's behavior, and like how they got together and stuff like that, right? How they actually, like for us, like being entertainers, we were really looking at it from the entertainment perspective. Everything was shut down, but then when things opened again, it's like clubs and everything.
Yeah,
more stuff started
like
to sprout.
new things sprouted, and actually.
Can you tell us a bit about your interest in anthropology and specifically about Mexico City? Like, what made you want to study this or turn this into a thing?
Yeah, like how I got interested in anthropology.
Yeah.
Master's program with the culture politics project I was doing, a lot of the research that I was doing was very much anthropology focused, so a lot of anthropologists had already done similar research. That was just the thing that I gravitated towards. I think anthropology, the one among the social science disciplines, it's a very qualitative discipline, not collecting numerical data. You're really you're integrating the big thing for anthropology, or the method that anthropologists are known for, are participant observation. So you're participating in a community, you're trying to understand, you're observing, you're in the community itself, and you're just learning by living it.
Okay.
So I think I really like that approach to being not just collecting survey data, but you're having
very
meals with these
integrated.
people. You're very integrated. You're trying to understand what these people are experiencing, because you're kind of experiencing it yourself.
Right. So, personally, what were your immediate observations when you first came to Mexico and post COVID?
Yeah, so I was here 2020 until that summer, and then I came back to Mexico City summer 2021 and then summer 2022 and spent time in Mexico City and Oaxaca. Originally, I thought I might do half of my data collection in Oaxaca and half of it in Mexico City. I ended up just deciding to stick to like fully focusing on Mexico City as my research site. I mean, yeah, it was just like super interesting coming back every summer and seeing slowly how things were changing. Because I was here right before lockdown, then I was here during lockdown. Like I just remember staying at an apartment with my friend around March, and we were right by a school, and every morning I would wake up to hear like children yelling in the school playground area. And then, and you know, Mexico City's kind of known for being a noisy city.
Yes.
But it was just like, when lockdown happened here, it was just like so quiet, no one on the street. I didn't hear the kids in the morning that were waking me up. So that was surreal, like to experience Mexico City during that time, and then to come back every summer and just see it really growing and growing. And then meeting a lot of people, especially summer 2021, I came back while I was in Oaxaca and while I was in Mexico City, meeting a lot of people from around the world who were like remote workers or who just like wanted to go on a vacation for a few weeks, and they were like, everywhere else is still really hard to visit. And so that is, I think, a big reason why Mexico City became such a popular place. Like, it's not by accident. There was no, I've talked to a lot of folks who were doing the digital nomad thing, remote work thing, traveling around. They couldn't stay in the countries they were in because maybe their visa expired, and there was like, they didn't have access to a vaccine yet, but Mexico didn't require a vaccine at any point really, and you didn't have to do like a 2-week quarantine. You could just come here at any point and just be kind of free to do whatever. So I think that was really interesting to watch in real time, Mexico compared to other countries around the world.
So, like, do you think this is the reason why there was so many, like, there's such an influx of nomadic workers, like? Because we were here and we definitely noticed that the social climate completely changed. There's a lot of international folks that came through. Like before that, like, you know, the difference was like before that it was just salsa everywhere, and then afterwards, you know, there was more urban music. It was more an international sound as well. I mean, because we're musicians, so we observe these things.
And different kind of communities also, you know, like. Sprouting after that.
Yeah, and a lot more Americans also.
Let me ask you this, Emily. So, we wanted to ask you this actually earlier about the term remote workers or the people that you studied. What is the nomads. Digital nomads? So, what is the gripe? You know, like,
Totally. Yeah. So when I designed my research project and when I was like applying for grants, I was using the term digital nomad a lot. I mean, it's just obviously a very commonly used term, and it does it has very particular suggestions about like this person is flexible to like work wherever essentially and to do remote work. But yeah, in terms of like when I've actually been going to events and talking to people, when I've been doing my interviews with different remote workers, a lot of people either like are like, no, I don't identify at all with that term, or they're like, oh, I don't like that term, but sure, you can call me that. Like, and I think it's for a variety of reasons. I think for people who don't specifically identify as that, part of it is just, I think some of the branding or like the stereotypes around digital nomads. I think that like maybe they're not invested in the communities that they're spending time in, like they're just passing through. There's not that commitment to build networks. I think there's also kind of a negative stereotype around like geo arbitrage and like using it for financial gain, like going to countries and exploiting that maybe you're making euros or pounds or dollars and you're able to live very like luxuriously. And so I think there's some of that like lifestyle branding too, that identity that gets attached to it, where people are like, I don't really identify with that. I think in some cases too, people are like, I'm just not nomadic enough. But I think what's funny is that like some people who stay here longer are like, yeah, sure, you can call me a nomad. And people who've only been here for a few months or like spend half the year here and half the year somewhere else, they're like, I'm not a digital nomad. So it's funny because some people are like, I'm not nomadic enough, but there are people who've lived here longer that are like, sure, fine, you can call me that, I guess. And so, yeah, I think those are some of the associations. I think for those who do identify or say like, sure, I don't love the term, but you can call me that. Again, for the like stereotype reason, they're like, it feels cringy or bougie or like,
Right.
there's like that socioeconomic lifestyle aspect that they're like, I don't love that. I don't identify with that. But I do think that they'll be like, yeah, you can call me that because I do work remotely or digitally, and I have the flexibility from the work that they do and also the passport they have that they can pretty much work wherever.
Yeah.
I think that that's what I'm seeing when I'm talking to people about the term digital nomad versus remote worker. Digital nomad is much more of like this holistic lifestyle sort of branding, and remote worker is much more general of like, I do remote work. So one thing I hear a lot in the interviews, it's a term that hasn't been used as much. I think it's an emerging term, is the term flexible work. A lot of people talk to me about the importance of flexibility. So the importance of like being able to work the days that they want, at the time they want, kind of really getting to structure how they work and where they work and on like what terms. And so that's a huge thing that comes up in interviews is people are like, I love Mexico City and I love that I get to be here. I love the flexibility of my work that allows me to be here. And yes, if I want to go to Puerto Escondido for a long weekend or for a week, I can do that. But it's that flexibility thing is a big part of what people talk about.
Comment will be like there's a whole thing with gentrification, and you know, like it's been the term is so marketed and packaged already. Like flexible worker sounds like focused to the point, like just like somebody who's able to be flexible with their time. And I like that term.
Yeah, we'll do our best to promote that term, flexible worker. And I mean, it's you touched on a few interesting points. We kind of guess like that's what people are turned off about, you know, with that. But you know, there's some. I mean, like, because we've had quite a few flexible workers on the program, you know. And
have they called themselves digital nomads?
Yeah, some do.
They're okay with it most of the time.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. And but my point is that most of them, in fact, a vast majority of them are actually contributing to the community. You know, they're working remotely, but the stuff that they do directly impacts the people that they're around, and be they artists or you know, whatever other work that they do do kind of just, it is, I don't know if it's Mexico City or what, but they are very in touch with their community, you know.
Yeah, you mean like they try to like be engaged with like the people around them and what's going on in their community and stuff.
Yes,
there, right?
They're not shut off. Or,
like they're very interested to be part of the scene.
Yeah, the scene, and so I wonder if it's something to do with the place. Maybe Emily, could you tell us a bit about your PhD work? You know, like what I mean. Like, what are some of the specifics, or what were you actually studying, you know?
Yeah, so within my dissertation research, I guess very broadly speaking, when I came into the project, I was looking at the connection between digital labor and transnational mobility, so trying to understand socioeconomic mobility, also how people experience migration, like that process. And I was very attuned to like, okay, so the people that are here as remote workers, are they working for a company, or do they have their own business? Are they independent contractors or freelancers? Because a lot of contemporary research, especially in like the anthropology of labor, has looked at how there's been a lot of like cutting of middle position jobs in companies, and so people have shifted more into having their own business or seeing themselves as a business, like independent contracts rather than being full-time employees. And so one thing I was interested in is with the pandemic, with everything happening and the shift to remote work, were more people going to be embracing like independent contract sort of work, and with the companies, because I assumed a lot of companies might start being like, we can't let you work outside the country, out of the country where the company is based, that people might be like, okay, well, I won't work as a full-time employee, work on contracts. That's not surprising, because actually a lot of people I've talked to, there are a lot of folks who do have their own business, who are independent contractors, but there's also a lot of people I've talked to who who do work for larger companies. I will say the majority that do work as full-time employees based outside of Mexico, like registered outside of Mexico. It's usually like startup environments where companies are more flexible in allowing that to work internationally. Yeah.
Could you repeat that last bit?
Yeah, you gotta jump.
Okay. Yeah, I came into Mexico thinking I'd meet like just a ton of people who were independent contractors, freelancers, or people who had their own business. But there's actually been a lot of people I've talked to who do. Some of them work for larger companies, and maybe the company they work for is like, we'll let you work 1 month outside of the country, wherever you want, or in specific countries. Or there's just been a lot of people who work for like startups. And I think in the startup environment, there's more flexibility of like, sure, whatever, we'll let you work outside of the country and work remotely there.
So, like, basically the main thing that you wanted to uncover through your research was why people are like what kind of remote workers there are, but like specific to Mexico City, were you trying to discover anything?
Totally, yeah, that's a big part of anthropology. Is like we're very interested in the specificity of like a location, like what is happening there. So while the theme that I'm looking at is like transnationalism, globalization, I want to understand the particularities of Mexico City. Like what about Mexico City is happening? Why do people come here? Why do they stay, or why do they leave? And so that's been a huge part of the project, and I think it is such an important thing to talk about when we're talking about digital nomads or remote workers in Mexico City, that there are very particular things that make people come here and stay here. And so some of the things I mentioned was obviously during the pandemic, a lot of people did kind of by accident end up in Mexico. So on a national level, people just came here because it was open and easier to come here. Then we can talk about more specific things in Mexico City. So like if we're just looking at like a policy standpoint, so in October 2022, the government of Mexico City partnered with Airbnb and UNESCO to promote itself as a global hub of creative tourism, as a global hub for remote workers. So the government of Mexico City, like specifically on a local scale, is very invested in having remote workers come here. If you look on the Mexico City government website, there's like a how-to page about like how to come here as a remote worker. And the visa process itself, I mean, a lot of folks I talk to are here on the 180-day, 6-month visa. They come here and they might be doing it for years. They'll stay, they'll leave, and they just come back. Obviously much easier if you're like based in the US. You can take a flight up to the US, go there for a week and come back. But on the Mexico City government's website, it says like, at least when I looked at it a few months ago or so, it's like, come here as a remote worker, you're not guaranteed the 6-month visa, but you can come here on the, basically, like, you don't have to pay, you just show up, you get the 6 months. So those specific things definitely, I think, impact why people, it's very easy for people to come here and be remote workers. And then there's obviously other things people talk about, like cost of living here as opposed to other large cities around the globe. For those who have bases in Canada or the US, time zone is a huge thing that people talk about. And there's obviously just a lot of other things too. People love the public transit, the parks, the culture itself. People talk about they want to use Spanish or improve their Spanish. They love the food, the culture, and the people. They're like, I feel like I feel very welcome here. I have Mexican friends that I've made easily. I've been invited to quinceañeras. There's that culture aspect too. So like infrastructure, culture, and policy, all those things definitely contribute to the popularity of Mexico City as a remote worker hub.
Right. And like one of the things that we really like to talk about on our show is like how living here as like a foreigner, like how has it benefited your life? How do you feel you have grown? So like you've been here a while, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, totally. I mean, obviously I switched my project in part because I love Mexico City too. Like it's funny because a lot of people I talk to either during interviews or just at events, it's kind of like how people talk about meeting their fiance. Like people will talk about coming to Mexico City as this falling in love experience of like I came here for a few days or a few weeks. I wasn't planning to stay, but I just like fell in love with it. And I think one of the reasons, the same reasons that a lot of folks I've talked to have said, you know, like the public transit, the museums, the food and art scene, like just the culture and just like people in general here are very warm, friendly. I think that has been just like, I've been very grateful to experience that myself. I'm very happy that I feel very fortunate that I do get to be here. I get to meet a lot of people from all walks of life, from all around the world, with working in different industries and hobbies, and it's like always very exciting to meet the diversity of people that are from here, but also who come here and stay here. Yeah, that's definitely been one of the things I just enjoy about being able to be here and do research.
Yeah, for us, recurring theme is we're coming from an Asian culture. People, they seem to like the openness, you know, somehow of the Mexican people, the Mexican culture, you know, and it's the warmth, you know, and that one is something that almost everybody talks about that we speak to, right? They talk about how that's kind of positively impacted the way they look at things.
Yeah, and also we have discussed happiness levels, like being in Mexico. And so in your research, like, have you thought about that as well?
Totally, yeah. One of my questions that I usually ask during interviews is about like quality of living they have here, as opposed to either the country they came from or countries they've spent a lot of time in. So that is something I'm very interested in. I definitely, coming into the project, I was like, okay, I think a lot of people come here too because of financial stress in the countries. Like if they're they've been living in big cities in other parts of the world, that might be a big part of it. But I've been surprised that that's not been foregrounded as much in the conversations. I do think maybe part of that is like because of the conversations around gentrification, that maybe people are like, I don't want it to seem like I'm exploiting that. But yeah, most people I talk to are like, I feel so much more balanced here. I love the warm energy. People will talk about like immaterial things, like there's just like a different energy. I think they like the intensity of the city, but still, you know, the warmness to it in terms of like how people interact with each other. There's also warmness on like a weather level of like some people do. They're like, the weather's really great. But yeah,
the weather's amazing. Huh?
The weather's amazing. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the rainy season, but we obviously need the rain. But yeah, weather's a big one. Public transit is one that comes up a lot that I wasn't maybe expecting as much, but a lot of people are like, I like that I can walk places. I love the EcoBC. I love that I can take the Metrobus or the Metro. So
that one is a bit of a surprise to me also. I mean, the walking around is cool, the EcoBC is great, and the Metro bus is cool, but you know, the Metro is it's quite an experience. The Metro, and that one is that one is a different.
So you've had good experiences like taking public transport here, like everything's been good.
It definitely, I've learned to like kind of hack the time that I like to understand when to take it and when to not take it, like which direction you're going in, what time it is. So there's like certain times I'm like, I am not getting on the Metrobus. Like I know I'm gonna be like up against the glass. It's not worth it. I'm either gonna walk or I'm gonna wait or I'm just gonna Uber, even though Uber is gonna be pretty slow during rush hour. But overall, I still do love taking the public transit. But yeah, it's all about knowing where you're going and when you're going and which direction you're going in.
And also even driving, like I enjoy driving here in Mexico. It's like the people are kind of
more easygoing.
Kind of more easygoing, in a way, you know. Crazy also, like everywhere, you know, like everywhere in the world.
Honking a lot.
But they're not so, you know, like, they're not so fussy. So.
Which part of the U.S. are you from?
I'm originally from Wisconsin. I grew up in Milwaukee and then did my bachelor's and a master's in the capital of Wisconsin, Madison. But yeah, have spent the past few years based out of Southern California, Irvine, Los Angeles. Yeah, so for me,
Mm.
compared to Los Angeles and to Irvine in California, I'm like, oh my God, the public transit here is amazing. People
Yeah.
actually walk
Right.
here.
Mm.
Like, I feel it feels way safer than like taking the subway in LA. A lot of people don't even know there is a subway in LA. But a lot of, like, most people I know who love public transit are like, I'm not going to take the subway in LA. But here I'm like, I feel, you obviously have to be on guard at any time you're on public transit, but I feel pretty safe in a way that I didn't always experience in California. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so we're from Singapore, and Singapore has like public transport to every little corner. I mean, after all, it's a really small country, so
Yeah.
like it's very accessible, and like, yeah, it's a breeze basically, our public transport. And so like for us, Mexico City will be like, there's still some places that you can't get to, and then
Right.
we will still whine about it and stuff. But we had some friends who they're from the UK, but then they were working in Guatemala, and they came over here to visit us. And when they came through, they were acting like, "Wow, there's public transport." It's so funny.
Do you transit here or mostly walk, EcoBC, Uber?
Yeah, we do all.
We do
everything. Yeah. But like the metro, like sometimes like for I think this was before COVID. I don't know, but sometimes I find it a little dangerous. Like
The
like
metro is wild as well. Yeah, it can get crazy.
yeah. So
And yeah, but I was just gonna say, coming from Singapore where everything is so perfect in that sense, we still kind of love it here. Like there's still a lot of things that kind of almost like the imperfections of
the imperfection is the crazy is what is
Sure.
drawing us as well.
yeah.
I'm sure you love the weather here more compared to Singapore, because
Yes.
obviously it's very hot and very humid there.
Yes.
Yeah, but like now I love it. You don't need AC, and it's so comfortable. But
Yeah.
like before, when I first arrived, I found it cold. I was Singapore is just hot all year
Yeah.
round. You lived in
Yeah.
Indonesia, you know what the
Yes,
weather is.
Yeah.
yes.
And growing up, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do miss a bit the climate of Southeast Asia, the
Yeah.
tropical, because I'm like at night it's amazing,
Mhm.
but obviously if it's really hot and humid during the day, not as comfortable
Yeah,
for
when
Yeah.
for walking
you
around.
need to get used to the heat.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. But for us, growing up in that part of the world, living here is kind of like a dream, like without the aircon and just being able to wear whatever you want, like this. I'm wearing this now in the afternoon. It's crazy. In Singapore, you wouldn't even think to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get to layer over here and be dressy, and Singapore is just like flip flops and shorts and.
But then on the other hand, like what you said, we kind of miss. There's a lot I miss about that, about Singapore. The rain, for example, I really miss the rain, and that warm climate also. Like I miss it also, just being bare-bodied and just slippers. And,
It's so interesting that you were like now part of the world, and then now you're here, so you know what our mindset is kind of like.
Yeah. And it's very interesting talking to you, like
human behavior.
human behavior. Yeah, I mean, like being an anthropologist, obviously you're interested in human behavior, right? And as artists, we're also constantly studying human behavior, So it's like we always looking to see how we can improve ourselves, like kind of be better persons, and kind of be to mature and to get rid of all the unwanted habits, I guess you would say, right? Unwanted, the things that are kind of stopping us from evolving, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I was reading something like they was saying that we never really grow up, but when we do become adults is when we claim the entire world, the situation, the environment and everything as like our responsibility. And yeah, I really like that. So like, I think what you're doing is it's like the study of what you're doing is towards that, that goal.
Yeah, and you mentioned Oaxaca. What are your thoughts about? I mean, for us, Oaxaca City is one of our favorite places. Yeah. What do you feel?
Yeah, Oaxaca. I mean, Oaxaca is beautiful. Spent like half of 2 summers there, so a few months in 2021 and like maybe about a month in 2022. It's a beautiful city. Obviously the food quite rich here. But for me personally, I think because it's so small, after a while, I was kind of like, I don't know. I love the big city, and like a lot of questions related to like tourism and gentrification. It was becoming there's a lot more tension there already in 2022 because it is such a small area. And a lot of folks for living in the small town, there's not like as much of a housing market that you can tap into, and so yeah, I think feeling that tension and seeing how things were changing. The pandemic also made me like, I don't know if I want to stay here for like half a year, because that was originally the plan, was maybe I would do like 7 months in each place. And I just love Mexico City. There's a lot to do here. It's such a big city. But yeah, Oaxaca's beautiful. Great food, beautiful landscapes, so much rich culture. Yeah.
The beaches, yeah.
So we haven't been to Oaxaca like post-COVID. Like are there a lot of remote workers over there right now?
Yeah, that's. I think it's become a popular hub for remote workers, and then also tourists who just end up spending several weeks there. I haven't been following it as closely, but I know that there have been like actual demonstrations there in the last year or so, like that were popping up. People were sending me. I'm not on Instagram or social media anymore. I go on like Reddit for research purposes, but I'm not as tapped into like Instagram and TikTok unless someone sends me something. But yeah, someone was sending me, there was like demonstrations pushing back against like gentrification, and particularly directed at foreigners who were coming and living there. Yeah, so I know it has been.
Oh, wow.
There's been a lot more.
Oh, wow, I thought it was. It sounds like it's worse there than here then, because it's talk of gentrification here, especially Roma area and stuff like that, but no demonstrations that I know of.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Graffiti is what I
It actually
see
told us a
usually.
lot of. Yeah.
Graffiti, right?
Okay, so like
Yeah,
just
it's more like graffiti.
fighting back that way.
Yeah, and people I've interviewed.
Yeah,
like,
over here, yeah.
I do bring it up in interviews because I'm like, this is a conversation that's happening. Like, how do people who are being, kind of being demonized, I guess, for being here? Like, how do they feel about conversations around gentrification? And a lot of folks are like, I don't know. It is happening, and I don't want to be exploiting the situation. But like, they've seen the graffiti, or like maybe have had conversations with friends who are Mexican who might make like jokes about them being here. But nothing dramatic. Only a few people have been like, yeah, one time someone yelled at me, like if I was speaking English on the street, or like gringo go home kind of thing. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to see that dynamic too, like happening in real time.
Yeah.
Right, but you felt the tension enough that like you wanted to just come back to Mexico City and take a break. Was that the reason, or like you just thought it was enough time already over there?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? It went out for a second.
No, I'm saying that like, did you leave because you felt like it was getting too tense over there?
In Oaxaca?
A little bit of that.
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I was like, I just started to feel a little uncomfy. I feel like it just wasn't. I think that was definitely part of it. Part of it too is, again, it's just like a very small area, and I don't know. I just felt more at home for various reasons in Mexico City.
Right. Like, I mean, before it was like really, really nice in Oaxaca, like very welcoming, and there were foreigners, but they all blended in with the locals, and like everybody just they didn't separate like I mean we went there. And we always felt like it was like home, it felt very homely.
Yeah. But the changes were happening because we went, the first time we went there, it was like very almost, and the next time we went was about a year later, and it was a lot of difference, like there's a lot of new bars and everything, like a lot of built up stuff, and yeah, so the changes were happening pretty quickly. you know.
Yeah. So not.
Emily, what do you think, looking forward about this topic, you know, like this trend of remote work? How do you think it's gonna evolve in Mexico City?
Yeah, it's a good question. I definitely can't predict what's gonna happen. I think it'll be interesting to see if there is gonna be more pushback and if the government, what that relationship is gonna be with the phenomena of what's happening. As of right now, I think the government is interested in having Mexico City be a global hub for remote work. But I'll be interested to see like how this evolves. And yeah, I mean, remote workers, they're not a monolith. I mean, a lot of them come from all around the world. They work in different industries. But I would say overall, almost everyone I've talked to is very much, they don't want Mexico City to be a bubble. They like the Como Condesa bubble. They know that exists, but they're like, most people I talk to are like, they want to prove like they deserve to be here and that like they want to use Spanish, they want to integrate in the community, they appreciate the culture, they want to respect that, and they don't want to exploit if there are financial differences. They want to like support local businesses is something I hear a lot of people talk about. And I think one funny thing that has come up a lot in research is the conversations around spiciness in the food here. Like multiple people are like, I don't want the food to be less spicy because I'm here. Like I'm worried they're gonna make the food less spicy, and I don't want Mexico to change because I'm here, and I don't want like all these parts of the bubble to just start speaking English. Like I want to use Spanish, and I want to eat spicy food. Like
that's great.
It's funny to hear those stories, but people don't want that Mexico City just radically changes. Especially I think for like gringos, folks from the U.S., Canada who come here. So that's been an interesting thing to see how this is going to unfold. And then I think another interesting part of it that I can't predict, but that I'm looking at is just like how return to office mandates and hybrid work is impacting people. Might have to leave Mexico, or if they quit their jobs so that they can stay here. You wonder like what kinds of policies companies are going to adopt in relationship to remote work or like international remote work. I don't know what's going to happen there, but those are all kind of things I'm looking at and kind of watching happen in real time.
Okay, so generally speaking, Mexico is a good place for remote workers, right?
There's so much awareness. Like everyone's coming here, like what you just said. You know, like people are coming here with so much conscious intention. I think it's really cool hub of activities.
Yeah, but I'm also interested to know, like in your research, like have you looked at other places in the world with similar kind of vibe, or you know?
Oh, comparing with Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Like officially, I haven't compared with Indonesia, but because I lived in Java for several years and then lived in parts of Denpasar, Bali area. And looked into some remote work community spaces, specifically like co-working spaces. I spent some time around those. So that is something like in the back of my mind. I do think about that, of course, because obviously, you know, Bali is a hot spot for remote workers. A lot of Southeast Asia, it's very popular with remote workers, digital nomads. So it is something I'm thinking about in the back of my mind, but specifically for like my dissertation, when I'm writing up that, it's going to be very focused on Mexico City. Maybe down the road I could do more comparative work. Of course, yeah, I think about Bali a lot. I think about like my memories of that and my understanding of like how it might be different or similar. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we only have like a minute left. Is there anything you would like to like leave with the audience?
Yes, please. Some closing words, and it's been a really very interesting talk with you, Emily. And yes, why don't you give us some words?
Oh, I don't know. That's closing words.
Like interesting, something interesting.
Usually at this point we get the guests to kind of give some advice to, you know. In this case, I would say, what advice would you have for someone who's considering?
Or maybe someone like who's here and want to make a good experience.
What's
being here,
good experience
meaningful experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a big part of, if you're new here, is just going to meetups. That's how I've met a lot of people. It's been such a huge part of like networking here, is going through the meetup app. And there's plenty of ways to practice Spanish or to do language exchange. And there's so many, I mean, like Mexico City is such a rich city in terms of the amount of opportunities on like WhatsApp groups and meetups to just network with people from all of the different walks of life, practice languages, exchange ideas, get on the apps, and it's a great way to meet people, including folks who lived here or grew up here. There's a lot of Mexicans I've met who go to these remote worker meetups or international meetups, and so there is that exchange that happens at a lot of these events. So yeah, get on
Cool.
meetup and WhatsApp groups, get out there and meet people.
So one last question: Do you actually organize any of these yourself?
Why what?
Do you organize these meetups? Any of these kind of meetups?
I don't really organize. I got plugged into like a remote worker meetup community, and I like hosted one co-working day. And I know there's a bunch of different WhatsApp groups where anyone can just be like, I want to co-work here. Come join me.
Well, okay. If you do, let us know. We'll be there. You know.
Great.
Yeah, we like have a researcher hosting the whole thing and like, telling everybody, okay, so this is no, I'm kidding. So thank you so much, Emily, for joining us.
Thank you.
Having me.
We had a really good time. I'm Celeste
Yeah.
Angel,
I'm Isaac Rakesh.
and we're here on ADR Networks, activating your senses.
Peace.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Show.